Hello, my loves. Welcome back to Chemistry with Kismet Tarot. I am Monica, the Kismet Chemist. If you are new to my channel, welcome. Welcome to the family. I am honored to have you here. If you are returning, welcome back. I have missed you. So you are my Aquarius rising signs. And with this Aquarius rising signs, we are focusing on Scorpio season, not just Samhain and Beltane, depending on whether you are in the northern or southern hemisphere. Excuse me, guys, I just chugged a bunch of coffee. But we're focusing on how the primary moon cycles are going to impact certain areas of your natal chart and how those areas of your natal chart actually correlate to your external or internal world. If you didn't catch the original rising sign messages for Libra season and you want to get a little bit more in depth about what it means to be an Aquarius rising, I strongly suggest checking out the intro of the Libra season rising sign messages for you guys. What I want to talk to you guys about today is, first of all, Aquarius, you guys have been taking like a 1-2 punch to the face. And this has been going on since 2020. This is because Saturn is moving through your first house. And when Saturn moves through your first house, everything about yourself gets called into question. Every moment in which you have stayed silent, you no longer are able to. Every moment in which you have seen some wrongdoing, you're no longer able to stomach it. It is one of these moments in your life that becomes utterly defining of whether or not you continue to perpetuate the same cycles, the same actions and reactions, or whether you choose a new path. And I want to tell you, I remember the time frame in which Saturn was moving through my first house, and I did not learn my lessons at all. I literally sacrificed everything about myself and got myself into this really toxic marriage, my first marriage, because I was so scared to be myself. I was so afraid to be myself. And Saturn really, really put so much pressure on me. And I know, I want you to understand, I know how hard this transit is. I do know how hard this transit is for you. And I have 2 Aquarius risings in my family, and I have watched them grow, change, but I have also watched them go through this push and pull of what is going on. Now, as we move into Scorpio season, which starts on October 23rd, Saturn has just turned direct. That Saturn turns direct on October 22nd, literally the day before we head into Scorpio season. And this is the time in which all of those internal lessons that you've been learning throughout Saturn's retrograde that started in June and is now running and ending right before this season hits, all of those internal lessons, you're now going to start seeing how they have impacted your outer world. That cause and effect that we talk about in terms of karma. Karma is nothing more or less than a cause and effect relationship between what we do and how it impacts ourselves, others, and the outside world. You're going to start seeing it in a more physical sense. The runes that I've been doing, if you're new here, I've been doing theme runes for the entire month of October in honor of spooky season. We're working with witch runes. However, I was drawn very strongly to using Elder Futhark runes recently, and for the rising sign messages in particular, there was this call to kind of blend some of the energies together to help the collective learn how to blend different pieces of themselves. your rune up here is the rune of Ansus. This is about the power of your voice. This is the rune of Odin, the rune of the All-Father, essentially the god of gods in Norse mythology. This is about wisdoms starting to awaken within your own mind. Words and thoughts and inspirations from the universe coming alive within you. You are now moving into a phase during this in which the biggest theme of your Scorpio season is going to be personal truths versus the illusions of the past, the illusions of the mind, and the illusions of the outside world. You are learning to find the divine order, but you're learning to find that within your own mind. Now, as I was preparing for this, I got a few really random all over the place messages. So the first thing I got was this energy of bring it on world. And that was when I was pulling the witch runes. And we're going to get into that for each of the moon cycles. But that was the energy I was pulling. So there is this huge empowerment energy that I feel with you guys where you are just ready. You are ready to go. It is time. Let's go. Let's go. That's kind of what I'm getting. Like nothing and no one is going to stop you at this point. And that's a huge energy I picked up as I was shuffling your cards and sitting with the energies. I also got a song. It's All Comes Crashing by Metric. And this song talks about the nature of true love, about the person that you choose to love in your life, and how it doesn't matter if everything comes crashing down all around you. The world could come crashing down. Like an asteroid could come, slam into the world, just like, in Armageddon or what have you, when everybody is just preparing for the world to just end. Everything can come crashing down. And it wouldn't matter because you're with the person that you love. I don't know if this is a message specifically for one person or it could be for multiple people. You may have been questioning yourself and your relationship a lot lately because Saturn is sitting in opposition of your 7th house. And so when Saturn sits in opposition of your 1st or your 7th house, it calls into question who you are within your relationships. A lot of this has to do with your internal perspective of yourself. So you may want to check out that song. I will try to remember to link it in the description box below. I also was getting pressure in 2 different chakras. The first one was my 3rd eye chakra, but I was feeling it more so on my right side, on the divine masculine side, as though your 3rd eye wants you to take action. Like there's some sort of psychic action, insight, intuition, visionary action that you're being called to take. It's about action. It's about moving forward. It's about taking those steps forward. That is something I felt really, really strongly. And I can still feel that pressure. And it almost feels like the inside of my face is pressurized. I would call it a sinus infection, except it only started when I started touching your cards and working with your energy. The other area that I felt pressure was in the back of my head at the base of my skull. Now, this is what's called the causal chakra. The causal chakra is not one of the core 7 chakras, but it is an incredibly important chakra. And if you are going through a causal chakra awakening, you're awakening to the energy of the moon, divine white light, but you're also awakening to all of your past life gifts. This is the chakra that gives you direct connection to the soul star chakra, which is your connection to the divine. When this opens, there's it's like a bag of marbles just suddenly spills out and they're rolling in every direction and you're not really sure which one to pick up first because they're all over the place. And if you pick up one, what if you accidentally step on another is kind of how it feels. But it's kind of like just take it at your own pace and don't overcomplicate it. Don't overthink it. So with that, the last thing that I got was there were 4 goddesses who came through as I was placing the runes down. And with that, I'm going to go over the runes, the cards, the signification, as well as the goddesses. So we're going to go through the 4 primary moon phases. We start off with the new moon partial solar eclipse in Scorpio on October 25th. And this is hitting in your 10th house. And this is a 10th house season. So this is a very career focused season. So if you see career stuff bleeding into everything else, it's because that's the overall energy of this season here for you. Now, with the harvest rune, I was getting the energy of Demeter, who is a Roman goddess of the harvest. You may want to look into her. You may have been seeing signs and symbols and synchronicities of her. If you have, this is a message that she wants you to connect with her energy. So we're actually going to be focusing on the solar eclipse energy rather than the new moon energy. They're pretty similar, but there are just a couple of changes with the eclipse happening, and I wanted to focus on that eclipse energy, that powerful eclipse energy. All right, then we move on to the first quarter moon, and this is happening in Aquarius in your first house. And we have the crossroads rune for that. And I picked up the energy of Hecate, who is the queen of witches in, I believe, she's connected to multiple areas. I know she's connected to Egyptian. I know she's connected to, I believe, Greek mythology, but I think that she has connections to Celtic mythology as well. And I do work with Hecate as well, but she's also known as the goddess of the crossroads. So this energy right here is going to be the first quarter moon. That is on October 31st and November 1st. It does a crossover during those 2 days, which is a huge deal. And we'll get into that. And then we're moving on to November 8th with the full moon and the total lunar eclipse. This is happening in Taurus. And this is happening in your 4th house. The lowest part of the chart, this is where your house of spirituality is, the roots of your soul. And we have the waves rune. When I touch into this, I hear the ocean, and I felt the goddess of Yamoya, and I believe she is in Aruba. Orisha, sorry, not Aruba, but Orisha goddess. I'm not entirely certain, but I do know she's like a primordial goddess, like the goddess of creation, the divine mother energy. And that's a very powerful energy to be coming through for you guys. And I'm very impressed. And then finally, we move on to November 16th, and we have the Scythe rune with the 3rd quarter moon in Leo. And this is happening in your 7th house. And I got the energy of Kali Ma, or Kali, who is the goddess of destruction. And I think she's a Hindu goddess. Like I said, I am going based off of the names that came through. So if any of these spark anything, please go ahead and check them out. But remember that this Ansu's energy is your overall energy. It's about the power of your voice. It's about knowing how to speak your voice. And there's so many things awakening within your awareness going forward. So I'm going to pause the video here. I'm going to clear everything out, and we're going to get set up for the new moon partial solar eclipse in Scorpio on October 25th. And I will see you there. All right, my loves, we are back. So we're going to go over the collective energy of this moon so that you know what it is that we are all collectively being called to. And then we're going to get into the energies that are sitting here and the messages for you. So this partial solar eclipse in Scorpio is beginning a new 56-year eclipse cycle. They're called Saros cycles. And these eclipses occur every 18 years. And these are every 18 years occurring in the sign of Scorpio. This eclipse itself starts in the first decan of Scorpio. We're working with Temperance and Hierophant energy today, which means that we're working with alchemizing past structures for a new beginning. So with it falling in this first decan of Scorpio, this is about transforming that scorpion energy, that stinging energy, that automatic reaction, that automatic I'm going to sting first and ask questions later, or not even ask questions at all. And it's learning how to heal the sting within yourself from the past regarding how much you love yourself and how much you value yourself based off of how you look at yourself, how you perceive yourself through the lens of the loss of love from the past. With this falling in your 10th house, we're talking about the love that you have for the work that you do, for what you're here to do in the world, for what you see for your future in the terms of career and success. It's how you view your ability to be successful in the world based off of what has happened in the past and how you truly value yourself. Now, during this, we've got Mars out of bounds in Gemini, preparing to go into his retrograde cycle for the first time since 2020 and the first time in Gemini since 2008. And if you want any further information or you want to be prepared for this retrograde cycle, my Mars retrograde guidebook is out and available on Amazon, and there will be links in the description box for my author page on Amazon. So you can go and grab that book. It's available in paperback, ebook, and Kindle Unlimited, and it is available today. So Mars being out of bounds means that Mars doesn't follow any of the rules at all of what we would think of Mars energy being within the terms of astrology. Mars is not under the rulership of the sun, therefore not under the rulership of anything astrological that we would expect. And because I knew this going into that retrograde guidebook, I knew I was going to be asked to just completely shift my perspective on everything. It was a struggle for me because I am naturally a fixed sign myself, but it was very profound. With Mars being out of bounds in Gemini, there is a trine energy between Mars, the sun, the moon, and Mercury in Libra occurring. This is giving us this creative, harmonic inspiration within ourselves and in the collective energy that we can tap into if we choose to find creative solutions to transform how we communicate in a sense of balance, in a sense of harmony, in a sense of equality within ourselves, like how we speak to ourselves internally and through any conflicts or prior miscommunications within our interpersonal relationships. Now, this is going to be something that will help you in your communicative stylings with the people that you work with or the people that you come into contact with in your line of work. This is falling in your 9th house. So this is helping you expand your awareness of how to blend more pieces of yourself, all the different parts of yourself, in a very creative way to show people that you can hold many aspects of yourself. You can hold duality within you and still move forward, holding that duality in a beautiful, beautiful balance when you communicate. Black Moon Lilith being out of bounds. I might have been wrong about that being in your 9th house. Let's see. No, this would fall in your 5th house. So that is, I apologize, guys. My brain is like trying to do numbers and it hasn't wanted to do that. I apologize. I want to correct my prior statement. This is your 5th house. So this is your self-expression, the way that you engage in pleasurable communication, but also how you create from a place within yourself, from the knowledge and the wisdom that you have within yourself. I'm actually now getting this message about like someone who is very, very spiritual, but you want to write like true crime inspired novels, not necessarily true mystery. Thank you, Spirit. Mystery novels. And you're like, but that's not very spiritual. You can do multiple things. You can write multiple things. You can create multiple things because you are multifaceted. And when you're in that Aquarian energy, it's that mindset that I can't be this and this at the same time that you struggle with a lot because that's that fixed mindset. And Spirit's really asking you to become aware, as well as the planets and the stars and the sky help you become aware that you can actually do these things. If it feels right to you in your heart, if it's something that you feel passionate about, that's what you're meant to do. Now, we also have Black Moon Lilith out of bounds, which again, she's not following the normal rules. She is making a harmonious trine with the sun, the moon, and Venus in Scorpio. This is about what kind of healing you can have, because it's falling in your sixth house, what kind of healing you can find through nurturing yourself, through mothering yourself, through giving yourself that beautiful divine mothering energy and nurturing and loving your heart from all of the losses, the feeling that there has been a lack of loyalty to you, the feeling of being abandoned into the murkiness and the misty confusion and cloudiness that comes from an unresolved past. And we all are collectively being asked to harness this creative inspiration to set an intention with a specific purpose to free our hearts from the past. Now, one of the biggest things here is Pluto. Pluto is in Capricorn still, but at that critical degree. And that means that Pluto's energy is hyper amplified in the skies. And it doesn't matter, to me, it doesn't matter whether somebody says, well, Pluto's far enough away that we're not going to feel it. I feel Pluto's energy all the time. I call it my pressure cooker energy, because Pluto wants you to hear that judgment call, to hear the calling of your soul, and to heed it. Now, Pluto is squaring off with the sun, the moon, Mercury, and Venus during this solar eclipse in Scorpio. And Pluto is ruling the sun, the moon, Mercury, and Venus. There's multiple rulerships, but in a direct sense, Pluto is ruling these planets. Because with the sun, the moon, and Venus being in Scorpio, Mercury being in Libra, falling under the guise of Venus, all of these planets, this is Pluto really putting the pressure on these planets to find the true purpose of transformation and healing within ourselves, to understand that the actual purpose of transformation is to heal ourselves. It's not to be seen outwardly as a success. It's to heal ourselves. It's to transform who we are, because that is a success. It doesn't matter if the outside world doesn't acknowledge it. It only matters that we know that we've done this for ourselves. The tension will be a pressure, like a pressure on our minds, in our minds, that is given the opportunity to open us up to turning the corner. And I was literally like seeing like a car go like this and then just take a veer over it. Like it's asking us to turn the corner if we want to surrender to what's opening up within our minds. Instead of fighting this pressure, let whatever comes out come out. Purge it out of you, scream it out of you, write it down, do whatever you have to do. If you have somebody that you genuinely trust to be like, I need a sounding board, please understand that anything that comes out of my mouth does not apply to you in any way, shape, or form, but I have to get this out of me. I have to get it out. And when you say something like that, know that as soon as you expel it, as soon as you say it out, you're not manifesting anything, because you have the intention of releasing it in this moment for the sake of transformation, for getting it out of you. You have the intention of just saying everything that is popping up into your head, because you need to say it. You need to get it out. You need to get it out of your mind so it stops going on this repetitive loop, and allowing that to be cleansed from you through taking that directed action forward. This tension is going to transform the past structures. It's going to help all of us, if we surrender to it, help all of us come into a greater awareness of how we are capable of being emotionally grounded and verbalizing that emotional grounded into this life. It's taking the edge off of the words that we speak to ourselves and to others. It's being less defensive, being less reactive, and being more proactive and loving and patient. Standing in your truth without having to defend yourself. It's such a powerful energy. And I feel like for you, this is an energy that's going to make you feel as though you're finally free to pour out from you all of that creative, innovative ideas that you have without any fear holding you back. This is a new cycle of wholeness of the self within the world. It's embracing the mystery of life, knowing that we're created as a whole individual, even in those times where we aren't really sure or we feel as though we aren't, knowing that we are. And because we know we are, we create a greater balance within ourselves, the world, and the collective. So let's move on to how this is going to impact you. Now, remember, we are in your 10th house. So we have the overall energy right now that you're working with is the Harvest rune with the Four of Wands. Now, if you know anything about tarot, which I know a lot of my viewers are well acquainted with tarot, the Four of Wands is like the 1111 card. It's seen as like the happy marriage, happy life, celebratory card. This specific Four of Wands, and especially with it being in your career sector, you have a man standing here and he's staring into a window or a portal with a witch facing him. Everything around him is very haphazard. There's books and papers scattered everywhere, but he is focused on this portal right here, on what he sees. This is literally about you seeing the other side of yourself and understanding the two parts of the whole that make you who you are and using that to create abundance, prosperity in your life. It's about all the work that you've done to really see your inner world, see all of your inner world is now coming into a place in which it's going to pay off. Now, I have 3 tarot cards out. It's the past, the present, and the future. When we're looking at the past, we're looking at your energy from Libra season. And Libra season for you would have been, let me see, your 9th house. Would have been your 9th house season, yeah. And because of this, with Libra season, the beliefs that you held, the knowledge, the wisdom, the expansion, the philosophies have been challenged. They've been challenged. And the reason I say that is we've got the 3 of Swords. You can see the correlation here between the 3 of Swords and the 4 of Wands. This is where the mess is coming from. So it may have felt during Libra season as though everything that you've done to date just crashed. Just like boom. Like a gust of wind came in and tore everything asunder. But the overall energy that you're moving into in your 10th house is this harvest energy. It's like you're turning your back on the destruction from the past here to see the truth of what you carry within yourself. And it may have been it may have felt like you were in the midst of a storm. I'm actually getting a lot of Tower energy. But your current energy is this 2 of Wands, and he's not focusing on the ships in the background like you see on a traditional 2 of Wands. What he's focusing on is writing in this book. It's in sharing the wisdom that he has. He's got a candle illuminated. He's got this beautiful glowing, like on fire with blue flame ball. It's like you have this awakening within you that you know that there's something that you're meant to write, to share. Again, like that writing energy that I'm getting here. But in another way, he could be reading. You could be expanding your awareness, just expanding yourself, because now you're learning yourself. So that's the energy that you're in. And first of all, what I'm hearing is well done. I'm hearing this like huge, like well done, like they understood the assignment kind of energy where, yeah, everything may have seemed like it was crashing down and your heart may have been like aching, horribly, horribly aching. But instead of allowing that to just be your energy, be what you were in. You turned away from it. You turned away to look within, to see all the pieces of yourself, to see the power that you held within, to see a new way forward. And now you're doing some sort of research. You're doing some sort of wisdom seeking, reading books, I'm hearing reading manuscripts, proposals, propositions. You may have a lot of incoming information from all over the place, but you're really starting to hone something in this moment as you're moving into Scorpio season. You're starting to hone this wisdom that you have, because if you look, this is a young man and he is definitely an older gentleman. And this means that you have really matured through the situation that you have gone through. Now, in the future, what this is showing me is whatever it is that you're doing, whether it's studying or creating or writing or taking on new clients, taking a new journey, taking on some sort of creative project, creative undertaking, anything like that. What I'm getting from this Two of Wands, it's like the way that you used to operate, you've shifted out of that messiness of the mind. You've shifted out of, because there's so much organization now to his desk. There's no extra papers. Everything is nice and calm. And you see these two lights. They're two different colored lights. He's harnessing both aspects of everything he has within him and fueling it into this light here so that he can bring this wisdom out. And this is going to lead you to building something that is what you're ultimately aiming at. I mean, the 10 of Pentacles is what we all say we want to aim at. But as you can see, you've got him here. It almost looks like he's the same person here, but he's teaching a younger generation. So this is something that I am feeling very strongly, like you're teaching others how to rise up, how to mature, how to climb that ladder. And I don't mean like a corporate ladder. I mean like climb the ladder within themselves to a higher level of awareness, a higher level of healing, a higher level of wisdom. And the way that you're doing it is very inspirational. You're showing parents, this may be very, very specific, but I have to say what's coming in. I'm seeing somebody who is showing parents that it's okay for them to take a break, because there are other teachers in the world. There are other people who can help guide their children. And when there's a sense of trust there, then the parents can really rest and nurture that relationship so that the family itself is nurtured. So some of you may be interested in counseling, therapy, like relationship and family counseling is coming through really strongly. But there's this essence of reminding people as well of their inner child and the wonder and the magic that their inner child has. So if any of these are areas in which you have been thinking of taking a career path down, this is literally your confirmation that that's where the wealth is. That's where the success is. That's where the prosperity is. That's what you're building. Those are the seeds that have been planted, because look at this tree. Look how strong and sturdy and founded, like strong foundation, strongly rooted this tree is. And it's so magical. It's like you have this within you. You know it. You're working on getting yourself there. Trust in your path, because the harvest is coming through this season to show you that you're on the right path, to show you that all that you have healed and left behind is being ameliorated now. So let's take a look at your messages. Now, this card specifically is the Samhain Oracle card, and these are messages from your ancestors. All the other ones are just compilation messages from your guides and spirit, but ancestors came through so strongly, which doesn't surprise me, because with this season, there's a lot of ancestral energy coming forth. So they really wanted to have a very firm, specific voice in these readings. So we have Frog, the card 17. May the lily beneath your breasts allow you to drink from its healing water. Be still, for there is serenity behind the drowning croaks. Yeah. Frogs are a very cleansing animal. Frogs actually are symbolic of spiritual cleansing, physical cleansing, emotional cleansing. This is literally saying that your ancestors are acknowledging that there are parts of your life that feel as though they have been drowning, parts of yourself that feel as though they have been drowning, parts of your mentality that have had to be drowned out. It's like when I was a kid, I had to drown out the silence so that I could actually focus on something. And I didn't realize until later in my adult life, it was because my clairaudience was so strong as a kid that I couldn't focus on what I was doing unless I was able to shut that off, but I didn't have the tools necessary within me to shut it off. So I had to have background music all the time. I would have to turn on background music to sleep. I would have to have something going on in the background. And because I did, I was able to actually focus on like drawing or coloring or writing or just doing my homework. And I never realized at that time that that's what it was. But it was drowning out the silence. What I'm hearing is it's drowning out the things that you don't need to be listening to anymore. It's drowning out the words and the messages that aren't for you. Drowning out anything and everything that is keeping your brain and your mind in a state of go, go, go in this fixed pattern. It's so that silence can come in within your own mind. And that's such a blessing, especially if you're someone who deals with anxiety. An anxious mind really, really, really struggles to shut up. And I know because I have an anxious mind. So it's been a challenge for me. But this is saying that your ancestors are stepping in to say, do not worry. Your heart is being cleansed here from this. We are aiding in this. So if you are worried about some of the things that come through and create some chaos, some of this same stormy energy, don't be alarmed. You have so much spiritual help coming to drown out all of that came before because it's no longer meant for your path. So let's see here. We have manifestation and be authentic. Be real and true to who you are and how you feel. And that's the card 39, which reduces to a 12 and to a 3. So this energy here is telling me that here with this 3 of Swords, the likelihood is that whatever it was that you were creating or trying to manifest into your life, you're starting to realize it wasn't really you. And I've been there myself. Where I was creating things that I thought were like, oh, this is going to be so great. This is going to be so awesome. People are going to love this. But I was thinking about the way that people were going to respond. I wasn't thinking about how it made me feel and whether I felt like it was true to myself. I was thinking about, well, is this going to get a response? Is this what people want? It's not about what people want. It's about what is right to you. What is true to you? When you create from a place of genuine authenticity, create from a place that is just 100% you, even if it feels so unusual for that to happen because you're like, well, nobody would understand who I am. And I get that because I'm looking at this face here and she's got a swan as a hat. And like, who wears a swan as a hat? You know, like it's that kind of energy. But like, if you want to wear a swan as a hat, wear a swan as a hat and like, do it loud and proud because that's who you are. That's who you are. You're showing them the beauty of the way in which you have transformed your mind from the ugly duckling into the swan. And nobody can challenge that. Nobody can come against that because it's just who you are. What argument do they have that doesn't have anything to do with them, but has to do with you? None. Any argument that would ever come at you for a situation in which you're creating an authenticity would be 100% reflective of the person who's arguing against you, not of you. So this is saying that if you want to manifest this, allow that cleansing of this chaos, really, really just like surrender to it, just like Pluto is asking, surrender to it because what you're going to be manifesting here is a life and a path and a truth that's 100% authentic to you, and the world is waiting for it. So let's take a look at these final 2 messages before we move on to the next moon phase. We have affirmation for positive change. And then we have the card 9, Phoenix. Yes, how's that for a happily ever after? I love this. Okay, this is literally like spirit coming through so strongly here. Like I can feel spirit here. Like so strongly saying, tell yourself that it doesn't matter what you wear, what you look like, or what anyone else says, because in this moment, you are making positive changes in your life. You are making positive changes, and those changes will last. You are the phoenix. And when you rise up like the phoenix, and this is so, so powerful, especially seeing how the phoenix is like the highest level of Scorpio energy. When you rise up as the phoenix, you literally show the world, look what I can do. You can knock me down, you can throw me in the fires, but I will always rise back up. I will rise up stronger, more assured of myself, wiser, more mature, and I will still get back in the boat and move towards my destiny. Nothing and no one will ever stop what I know I am authentically meant to create and do in this world. No one will ever stop me from being my truest self. And you have all the divine support sitting right here behind you. This is incredible. This is going to be a very powerful solar eclipse for you guys. All right, I'm going to pause it here. We're going to move on to the first quarter moon in Aquarius. All right, hello Aquarius risings. We are back. So we are now moving on to the first quarter moon in Aquarius. This is about the lessons of the soul. And this is so powerful for you because a first quarter moon is all about the initiation, taking the initiative, making a change, taking action with the moon in your own sign, having it be on October 31st and November 1st. This is literally like the energy of your emotions, your soul, your essence, finally aligning with what Saturn has taught you. And now you can move forward. Now you can take that action. This is you sharing with the world how to heal the hope within your heart and how to heal the faith that comes from being broken down and then finding yourself. So faith in yourself and finding where you belong in the world, in the collective, knowing yourself enough to know that you have a place within the collective. This is a thinning of the veil time. It is a time to connect with the ancestors. The ancestors of the soul are what came through the strongest. So these are the people that we've had multiple lives with, whether we've had multiple lives with them or we have had multiple lives and have a huge group of ancestors of the soul. These are people who are not incarnate, but they connected with us in the lives that we shared with them. And they are here because they want you to know the amount of support that you have right now. They're asking for us to give gratitude for the struggles that they endured, that anyone who came before us endured. The ancestors that we connect to, even if it's just like, say, for me, I have Norwegian heritage. I have that Nordic heritage. So the Nordic people and the trials and tribulations, having honor and respect for them, or the Irish and the potato famine and the time that they served in that suffering, but overcame, found ways to overcome. In that way, we're saying thank you. Thank you for the struggles that you have gone through. Thank you for the trials and the tribulations that you have gone through so that I could learn, so that it could appear in my life in its own unique way, so I could heal. So I could heal myself and our ancestors and our descendants. And that was something that came through in a channeling recently that stuck with me so strongly, was this understanding that we are the ancestors for our descendants. We, right now, what we do, what we create, how we heal, how we change, how we raise our kids, how we come forth into the world for the next generations, we're the ancestors that they will trace back their lineage to find our names. I myself want them to look back and be like, oh my gosh, I'm related to this person. That's so amazing. Now look what I can do because I know that I have it within me, because I know I have this connection and I know I have it within me. It's not about me wanting glory. It's about me wanting other people to see that if I can go through what I've gone through and change my life, that they can too. And that's what we're being asked to realize. We are the ancestors right now. When we honor our ancestors, we set the precedent for us to be honored as well. Everything works in that way. And it's important to remember that, to see ourselves in the lens of the descendants as well as the ancestors. The choices we make and the results or consequences of those choices are highlighted. That's highlighted through these excessive tensions and triggers that we feel, because first quarter moon, all quarter moons are bloody charts. It's very red. There's a lot of tension, a lot of square energy. It's there to bring greater clarity about how being nurturing and empathetic with ourselves can diffuse tension and anger internally to any kind of triggers externally. And it brings a deeper loving energy into a family unit, both physical and spiritual families. This moon phase gives us gifts and blessings of freedom found through healing the self from the pains of the past. And there was a quote that came through. It's from the Fever series, which is written by Karen Marie Monning. And it's like a sci-fi fantasy romance series. And one of the characters, Jericho Barron, says, "Stay to the lights." And he says that because there is a type of dark fae in the book that is a shadow. And the shadows essentially destroy people. They turn them into just like husks of themselves. They look like parchment paper. And that is like when you don't realize that you carry a light within you, when you don't realize that you can shine a light on your own shadows, then your shadows consume you. But if you stay to the light that you carry within yourself, you can bring forth greater healing and greater awareness. This awareness that we're learning through the moon and Pluto working together now is an awareness that when we listen to the calling of our soul, that healing comes through. We are able to show people how to shine a light into the darkness to find our blessings. We're able to show people that magic is literally what we make of it. It's what we believe it to be. And emotions are meant to be blessings of this experience that we deem the journey of life. Emotions show us that we care. They show us that we're connected. They show us that we're still human. And that's so important. It is so important on this journey. Emotions are not meant to be shoved away or pushed away. They're meant to be felt and experienced and then moved beyond because we are learning from them. So this is about balancing the truth of yourself through knowing that you have a light within you and being willing to take the initiative to shine that light onto your shadows and out into the world to show people how to do this. This is your first house. So this is taking directed action in your life for yourself. This is about how you come into the world, how you see yourself coming into the world. Now, the overall energy is the Eight of Wands and the Crossroads. And the Crossroads talks about obstacles, struggles, things that we come up into, blockages. It talks about all the ways in which we are trying to continually move forward, and there's something in the way. And this is the energy that you're embodying right now. But the thing that I'm seeing here is she's not even looking at what's in front of her. It doesn't matter to her what's in front of her. What matters to her is the wisdom and the inspiration that she is having downloaded into her mind right here. So this is telling me that you're not seeing the obstacles anymore. You're not seeing these pieces of yourself as obstacles. You're learning that in any moment when you come into a place where you have to make a decision or where you feel blocked off, you have within you the power that you can connect to the divine and get that wisdom and that inspiration. Now, last season, you have this energy of the Queen of Swords. So that's telling me that you had this energy of a very cutting kind of clarity. And this is all about you. So this isn't anybody external. This is like the divine feminine waking up within you and being like, hey, we're going to cut through this bullshit because it's time for you to realize that these blockages are only there because you allow them to be there. You want forward progress. We're going to have to block this off. So let's go ahead and make a list of all of these things. And then it was like your inner child perked up and is like, I can color. I don't know why that came through like that, but I love it. So it was kind of like you took that harder nurturing role with yourself of like, okay, it's time to be really clear about things. It's time to be really clear about who I am and what I can do and what I'm worth and what this looks like. Like if I want forward action, I create it. Nobody's going to block me off or stop me from it. I create that action. And you're now moving into this 10 of chalices or 10 of cups phase. And this is like literally like happily ever after. But this is about a union and a harmony within yourself, about your energies, your divine masculine, your divine feminine. It's about knowing that you have the support of the spiritual realm all around you. And because of that, as you move forward, you're being called into this space of really connecting with your intuition, your inspiration, your guidance, really, really connecting with that fire energy of, I know what I want and I know what I can do and I'm going to go and do that. And embodying it in this life, embodying this balance of water and fire and knowing that your mind is on board with this because you've allowed for your mind to be cleared of all of the blockages so that you can move forward and move forward quite rapidly, I might add. So let's take a look at what your ancestors have to say and then we'll get the rest of the messages from Spirit. So we have apples, the card 4. To taste, one must swallow it whole, and beneath the satin flame hides drowning waters. You guys are getting a lot of drowning waters. And then I'm looking at these birch trees and they've got eyes on them. You may want to get into Mother Nature, but with this card, what I'm getting, here's the thing. Okay, I make apple butter regularly. And my brother called me and asked me for my apple butter recipe. And I was like, well, I put intention into it and this is how I do it and everything. And I shared this experience with him, but he was just flabbergasted because I put all of the apple in there. I'm actually quite meticulous about making sure the stems and the seeds and the cores and the peel are all in there. And I cook it all down together because every piece of the apple is important. Every single piece of it matters. And what this is telling me is that you have to learn how to see the whole of yourself and the whole of the truth. And your ancestors want you to understand that underneath the cutting nature and underneath this way that you want to move forward, there have been these drowning waters. There have been these pieces of yourself that haven't been brought into the whole. But now you're able to actually have that wisdom and harness that wisdom to move forward. Apples have been poorly painted throughout history. And in reality, it's about wisdom. It's about knowledge. It's about nurturing. They say an apple a day keeps the doctor away. And granted, I've never tried eating an apple a day to see if I don't ever go to the doctor, but they say that because of the nurturing energy, the nutrients, the way that apples have been in this world forever, and they're here to help us grow and learn. There's so much wisdom within the apples, and the birch trees that are watching is literally like you have this connection with nature that you may not be fully aware of yet because there's all this energy, but no earth energy. So if you feel so inclined, if you feel called to this, if your energies of water and fire are getting out of control and starting to mess with your head again, try getting grounded, try going for a walk, try just like touching a tree. Just see if that helps. Because sometimes it's just about knowing that there's that connection there to something firm, something solid, something stable outside of yourself, that exists and that you can connect to it. So let's see what the messages are here. We have finding. Oh, that's beautiful. And then the card 19, express love through gifts. A small token of love can convey a great appreciation. Okay, So what I'm getting from this, and 19 reduces to a 10, which is a 1. We've got a 1 here. So 4s and 1s, this is about taking the role in your own stability, your own foundation. It's when I see this express love through gifts and finding together, it's about like giving to yourself. This is a moon phase that is all about yourself. So if you give to others so consistently, if you give and give and give of yourself, allow yourself to give to yourself. Because when you give to yourself, you actually find that love within. And this is about healing the heart, healing the hope and the faith in yourself that you have a place here. And that is done through loving yourself. Loving yourself despite anything that came before. So let's get these messages here. We have affirmation for growth. There's that earth energy again. And then 36, gold. You don't need someone else to fix you. Yeah, this is again, like this, you don't need someone to fix you. This again comes back to expressing love through gifts. So this is about learning how to give to yourself, learning that you are capable of putting all your pieces together and that you can grow from a whole and healthy part of your life and part of yourself. Because your ancestors are here saying, like, you may feel as though you bit off more than you can chew in this life, but it's not true. You're here to grow. You're here to be nurtured. You're here to nurture yourself. This isn't about spirit coming in and fixing you. It's not about your ancestors coming in and fixing you. It's about you finding within yourself the ability to love yourself, to give to yourself, and to see that you don't need fixing. You already are whole. And that is one of the biggest areas that you're learning how to overcome that blockage within your mind, is learning that you are whole, that it doesn't take someone else to fix you. It doesn't take, engaging with other people. It takes you knowing your own power, your own truth, your own self, and knowing that that self is worthy and giving to yourself, giving to all the pieces of yourself so that you see that when you do that, you actually plant the seeds for personal growth. And then you take all of those obstacles and just obliterate them, because now your mentality is, I'm going to give to myself before I give to others. And that's such a huge, important thing with Aquarius energy, because Aquarius, you are the cupbearer. And if you see the pictures, it's always pouring out of the cup. And it's pouring out of the cup into everybody else. But you have to be pouring from a full cup. You have to be embodying that star energy in the tarot and be pouring from an unending supply, knowing that you have 2 cups and one of the cups will always be just for you. So this is literally telling you to remember that you have the strength and the power within yourself to be happy in a commitment, but to be whole and healthy within yourself. And you don't need anyone else outside of yourself to fix you. All you have to do is find the love within yourself. So I'm going to pause it, switch stuff around, and we're going to talk about the full moon. All right, I am back. We are back. We are talking about the total lunar eclipse in Taurus for November 8th. Excuse me. And this is a liminal transformational stage. This is an in-between eclipse in the sign of Taurus. This means that it's like the gateway to transformation. Now, the biggest factor of this chart that I was drawn to was Mars out of bounds being retrograde is making a parallel with Black Moon Lilith being out of bounds. Neither of these are following any astrological anything, no rules, no regulations, anything like that. And they are actually operating outside of their signs and houses now. So this is a time and a huge lunar eclipse and full moon where we can transform the perception that we have of our own divine masculine energy into a healthier state, out of that toxic go, go, go attitude, out of the mindset of the abandoning father, out of the mindset of a silenceable divine feminine energy within us, to give way to a rebirth. It helps do this through changing the inner fears that whisper these lies to us. Like, you have to keep going. You have to produce. You have to do this. You can't listen to this part of you that wants to rest. You have to keep going. This is eclipsing that hardship mentality surrounding creation from the heart and soul. It doesn't have to be a hard thing. It shouldn't be a challenge. It's to give way to a new illumination within ourselves of the fertility of softness and the luxury of personal growth so that we can bring more beauty into the world, more divine essence, more divine love. The missing piece of all creation that doesn't go anywhere, and this was a channeled message, by the way, the missing piece of all creation that does not take flight is the heart. The true nature that the heart is the beauty, that we can redeem our lives through the awareness that the painful stings of the past make us immune to the poison once we recognize the true strength in getting back up and sharing our heart's creativity, sharing our vulnerability, being open with the world. This is asking us to realize the beauty of living as a conduit of energy, as living as channelers, as living as an example of healing and creation, and being the middle person for the heavens and the earth, being that essence of a fully aware divine essence within a human body, knowing that both sides of this are important. It helps to mediate the inner tension between the divine masculine and divine feminine through the purity and innocence of the love that your inner child holds within. Now, the sun, the moon, Mercury, Venus, and Uranus are all squaring off with Saturn in your sign. And this is hitting in your 4th house, the deepest part of who you are. This is where you're going to be feeling this the most. This is the time to learn the lessons of change and evolution. There are blessings, karmic blessings of the individual from the collective past when we willingly shift into this new way of being, this new perspective, and no longer holding onto any kind of power in a state of fear. Now, Saturn is the one that's teaching us this because Saturn mythologically had his downfall because he was afraid of his children. It's about learning that the next generation matters, so we need to nurture it. We're not supposed to be worried about what they're going to take from us. We're supposed to be showing them what they can have through the awareness of what we can create. There is a rising energy in this moon cycle of a strong Mars in Cancer energy that I was getting, because Mars is seen as being in fall in Cancer, but this is literally a new energy of Mars rising up and showing that the true power of the emotionally aware divine masculine energy in the world is someone who is a harbinger of peace. This is someone who moves and takes action in order to bring peace. You may have to cause destruction, but it's destruction for the sake of peace. And this is literally saying you can put me wherever you think that I'm going to falter, be weakened, and I will show you how strong I am. I will show you how powerful my heart is. I will overcome. And now for you specifically, Aquarius, this is so important because your energy, and this is, when I was setting these out, it was like higher self was coming down with the tarot cards. Your higher self is saying, surrender to the waves of everything going on. Surrender to all of this like kind of chaotic back and forth movement, because the truth is that you're the essence in the center. You're the eye of the storm here. This one of Earth or Ace of Earth here in this deck, it talks about the elements, the connection of all the elements. And there are 5 elements. It's water, air, earth, and fire. And when you combine all those elements from everywhere else, those correlate to the 4 primary directions or cardinal directions. In the center is the person calling in the elements, and that person is the essence of spirit. Spirit is the 5th element. So you call in spirit, you call in your higher self. that will keep you calm in the midst of anything that might be blustering around. But I'm hearing you're the salmon. You're the salmon. You're the one that knows how to keep going forward. It's like, if you tell me that this isn't right for me, I'm going to stand here. I'm going to call in my protective circle, and I'm going to show you. I will show you how wrong you are. I will show you that I have this divine creative essence within me. And so in the last season, there was this true awakening within you of what you contain within you, of the cup that you hold, of filling your cup up. And moving forward, now you're moving into this 10 of water phase. And look, we literally have a total solar eclipse on here with the 10 of water. And you've got the maiden, the mother, and the crone making a circle. This is literally about your true essence, your true magic coming in during this moon phase. This is about you like really fully feeling that emotional fulfillment in an entirety by welcoming in, by centering yourself and welcoming in your higher self, your spirit, your essence, welcoming that in and really grounding yourself and rooting yourself in that. And moving forward, there's so much spiritual abundance for you. It's like there are things being eclipsed out of your life, but there are also things being eclipsed into your life. And this elemental of earth is the card of abundance, but it's more than just physical abundance. This is spiritual abundance. This is spiritual awareness. This is spiritual fulfillment. This is you harnessing all aspects of who you are and coming into a wholeness now, and knowing that this wholeness is bringing forth so many things from you that you didn't realize you contained. So let's get the message from your ancestors. We have Wolf with the card 44. Devour the ferocious calling within the howling of your spirit. Run wildly into the freedom of your knowing. Yes, your own spirit knows. It's this awakening within you. And we've got another full moon. This full moon is going to be so powerful for you on a spiritual level. It's so, so powerful because your spirit's like, it's time for me to awaken within you. And I can literally see the fact that you know that that's what fills your cup. You do. Your spirit does. Your higher self fills you up. It centers you. It grounds you. It makes you feel fulfilled. And that isn't a statement on anybody else in your life. It's just how attuned you are to yourself. We've got 1, 1, 1, and then 44. You may be seeing a lot of 1s and 4s. But again, this goes right back to where we started, 1s and 4s. This is about really, really building that foundation based off of who you are, based off of yourself. So let's take a look at what Spirit says. We've got blessings and another full moon. And the card 16, love is all around you. There is love everywhere all the time. Simply acknowledge this as the truth. And with the 16, I was talking about Mars and Cancer. That's the Tower and the Chariot. That would be the 16 and the 7 cards. So this is saying that you have the power to literally bring in blessings by welcoming in that love, by welcoming in that emotionally aware divine masculine energy within you so that you know exactly what moves to make, when to make them, and the ones that are the most fulfilling for you, who you are and what your soul is. It's this essence of your ancestors are wanting you to see that within you, you have this strong, powerful force that you have inherited, but that is very specific to you. And it's time to allow that to come forth, to fully awaken within you, to realize that this is who you are. Howl at the moon. All right. And then we have ground and center. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. I promise you guys, I don't look at these cards. And then 41, sundress. Do it for you. See, this is what I'm saying. You have inherited these things, but they are unique to you. You're not doing this for anyone else anymore. You are learning how to see what you need and do what you need. And it's not about being selfish. And I just saw 1:10:01 on my clock. So this is a new beginning. Like this is a huge eclipsed new beginning for you. This is about you learning that when you move from the heart and you do the things that you need to do for yourself, you're moving with the wisdom of the divine. You are moving with the understanding and the awareness of the divine order of things. Your ancestors are freeing you from this feeling like you have to serve them. And they're letting you know, this is for you. This is for you to establish yourself. Ground and center into yourself. Look, all of these are looking up. They're looking up. They're looking up. They're looking up. They're looking up. Just like here. It's just like the Eight of Wands prior. It's this awareness of what you have coming down for you. It's like a spiritual awakening, but it feels bigger than that. I don't have a word for it. Ascension is not the right word I just heard. It's not ascension. It's different. It's like from the root up and the skies down, there will be a meeting within you. And there's something with your crown chakra that will awaken. Spend some time outside during this full moon. Like this, underneath the moon, spend some time. November 8th, go outside. Even if you live in the Northern Hemisphere and you have to bundle up a lot, go outside because it's going to be a powerful moon for you. All right, let's move on to the messages for the third quarter moon in Leo. All right, Aquarius risings, we are back and we are now focusing on the third quarter moon in Leo. And this is November 16th. And this is your 7th house. This is about your connections. This is about your relationships. It's not just about marriage. And I know that that's a huge focus of this house, but it's about all of your connections. It's the way that you connect to other people. Now, Aquarius risings, you have the High Priestess and the Scythe as your overall energy here. So this third quarter moon is literally about scattering seeds. It's this energy of pulling back. We've got the Devil and the Lovers card energy with the moon phase today. But Venus is now coming into the it's at 0 degree 22 minutes in Sagittarius. This is a critical degree. So Venus is hyper amplified. This is about the belief in love taking aim for the future. And because the Sun and Mercury in Scorpio, as well as Venus in Sagittarius, are all squaring off with the moon, we have to look to the sun and the moon to teach us what it is that we're trying to learn. And we do that through their interaction with Mars retrograded in Gemini. It's learning how to be flexible in our own view of love and the ways of speaking with the divine through emotional ease in flow of creative solutions. This is about learning how to speak change into our relationships, into the ways that we work in the world, for you in particular, very much into your relationships and your connections. How to use love and the awareness of your connection with the divine to bring forth change, integrate change, and embody the duality of the shapeshifter, knowing that this is what's right for you. Now, the overall energy of this moon for the collective is about excising shame through guarding the inner creative fields for true change to blossom within. It's about forgiving the struggles and the tensions that the world has shown us we have to fight through with other hierarchical structures, through making a conscious decision to change how we view our ability to rise in our life to a healthy, loving, welcome equality for a whole new reality being created. We are being called to use the energies of the planets today to lessen the tension on our divine masculine through action or receptivity of the divine feminine energies. It's about receptivity today. All quarter moons come with tension because they occur when the sun and the moon come into a square aspect. That's a right triangle. Right is inherently divine masculine. Whatever planets are traveling with or transiting near the sun or the moon at the point in time they come into these, become essentially energetically involved in the tension between the sun and the moon. It heightens the energies within the most personal of planets in our lives and the tension that they're creating. Now, for you in particular, this is about a cutting away from the belief that your gifts make you unlovable. And I'm sorry to say it this bluntly, but Kali's energy is very strong here. It's about knowing that you have this ability to see beyond, but you have a very big problem with seeing within sometimes. And it's time to cut away from you constantly looking outward so you can look inward. Because in this moon card, and moon talks about illusions, in this moon card, the cat is deluding itself to believe it's just a cat. Internally, look how fierce it is. It is literally the jaguar. It's the puma. It's the panther. It's that strong, brave, protective animal. The moon card can talk about illusions, but it also brings illumination. It brings awareness into the lies that we tell ourselves about being small, about not being able to do these things. And that's what you've been awakening to. So now you're cutting away anything that prevents you from embracing who you are, embracing the things that you can do, the things that you can see, the person that you are. And you're being put into this energy of literally letting go of all of those things, letting go of all the things that have held you back from being who you are and sharing your truth. And in connections, this is about you letting go of any of the illusions surrounding your connections, surrounding the lack of being able to be loved. That's just simply not the truth. This is learning how to allow those pieces of you to fall away so that you can see that the gifts that you have, especially the psychic gifts you have, are such a blessing. They are such a blessing, and you're meant to harness them and you're meant to use them. And they are a blessing within your connections. And maybe you have gone through situations where it felt like nobody could understand you or nobody would accept you for who you are. But the truth is that you need to accept yourself for who you are, and the world in turn will respond to that. This is about you coming back into the power of your own unique voice. So as you move out of this moon phase, this Piscean energy, this like deep depth awareness of what you contain within you, and you move into the world phase, you're literally like spirit and your guides and your higher selves and ancestors are all here and saying, this is the moon phase where you start over. This is the moon phase where you begin again. And when I say start over, for some of you, this isn't about starting over. It's about making a new choice. It's about choosing to believe in equality, in unity, in duality, in everybody being whole, in what you can do, in the fact that you believe that you can fly. You literally have someone flying across the moon. Now she's letting go of the hat and being like, you know what? It doesn't matter what anybody else says. It doesn't matter what the past says. All that matters is right here, right now. I am grounded. I'm touching the ocean. The wind is blowing in my hair. The sun is shining and I can feel that heat. And I am letting go of all of that past stuff. It's gone. It's out of my life. I'm done. I'm closing this cycle. And this is literally Saturn and Uranus. Like, right here being like, okay, this cycle is over. We've learned our lessons. We're not going to repeat it. This cycle is over. We know, we are aware. So now you're cutting away anything that you have within you that prevents you from really embracing who you are. So let's see your ancestors' message. We have graveyard. Yes. 18. There is a song that bellows in the peace of knowing no end, in acknowledging the crossroads of eternity. This is literally saying this is an end and a beginning right here. It's about cutting away the things that are ready to be buried, the things that are ready to be put to rest, to be put to ease, to be put into a state of peace. It's about letting yourself take a new beginning because you understand the power of what you have within, and it doesn't matter what the outside world perceives. What matters is what you know within your heart. So this is about you coming to the fullest nature of your relationships and fueling their union, their connectivity by saying, you know what, it doesn't matter what they say. It matters here. It matters that this isn't an ending. This is a way to begin something new. So let's see what else we have. We have closure and 41. Do something for someone. Give your attention to another. Yes. Okay. So you are learning how to close the door on all of this energy that's been holding you back from connecting. Now is the time where you are going to more fully connect. Sometimes when you do something for someone else, it awakens something within you and you realize, hey, I've actually closed this book. I've actually closed this chapter. I've actually laid this part of me to rest, laid this past to rest. I have actually moved on. I've actually cut this away. And I know that there is no death. There is only a new start. Everything ends, begins again. And you know that now. And so it's almost like there's this excitement of like, oh, the door is closed. It's time to move on. That's amazing. All right, let's see we've got Speak Your Mind. And 29, Feast, slow down and celebrate yourself. All right. So quite literally, this is about the fact that you're now, if you're in a connection, your connection is now changing. It's evolving. You're being asked to think of it in a new way, outside of anything from the past. And yes, that can be hard, but it is possible. If you have moved on from a connection, this is saying that you're finally getting closure from all of what has come before. And you are free to speak your mind. You're free to share your truths. It doesn't matter what anybody else says because you know the power of your voice. And that has been what your core message is the power of your voice, the wisdom awakening within your mind and what you have to share. You now are stepping fully into that and you are slowing down now. Now it's the time to slow down, to celebrate who you are and understand that you are worthy of love in every and any connection. And that is a brand new beginning for you with connecting to anyone else. You don't have to be afraid to be the truest nature of who you are because you're so protected for who you are and you are so loved and loving and lovable. Allow yourself to really sit down and see how far you've come, what you have overcome, and how worthy you are, because this third quarter moon is for you to really allow the closure from the past to happen, for you to see what is in your life, what you have done, what has closed, and what is now beginning. Take the time for yourself. Take the time with the people that you love, nurture each other, and create the life and the connections that you want moving forward, knowing that you're doing it in a state of brand new. All right, so I'm going to clear these real quick. And then we're going to get just a few closing messages. Thank you. And yes, I thank the runes every time I put them back and then I cleanse in between. So, all right. Spirit guides and ancestors for Aquarius rising. What are some closing messages for them to take forward today? We have runes, perception, augur, mastery. This is a fixed energy theme right now. I have the feeling it might be a collective theme, but I definitely am picking up fixed energy. That's too many. Can I get just one more, please? One more, and then we'll look at the back of the deck. One more. Okay. We have fire, spontaneity. And on the back of the deck, we have shooting star, confirmation. Okay. So you have mastered your perception. You have mastered the perception that you have about yourself, about what you're here to create, about what you can do. You have mastered some sort of perception of the world and of yourself. And this is giving way to this like spontaneous spark within you. You're no longer in a reactive spontaneity. It's more like an active, a creative spontaneity. Like, oh yeah, I can do this. You're learning how to harness the actual essence of your spirit moving forward. And your guides are really confirming that you have done this. You have done this. You've done the work and you have overcome everything that you have overcome. You have mastered this perception so that you can move forward. And life is just kind of going to pick up from here. That's what I'm getting. It's just going to pick up from here. If you see a shooting star, make a wish, but know that that is your guides confirming the messages in here that resonated for you. And letting you know that this is your time. This is a closing of a cycle. This is really happening for you. All right, Aquarius risings. I want to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sticking out with this reading. I know they get kind of long, but the information is so important and I want to give Spirit the time to speak. So I definitely want to say thank you so much to your guides and my guides for facilitating the connections between our energies. And thank you so much to Spirit for these amazing messages, for this awareness, for the abundance of empowerment and growth and hope and healing that you provide to the collective, that you allow me to be a channel for here in the world. Thank you so much. Aquarius risings, if you guys want to be better prepared for Mars's retrograde period, which starts October 30th, please go down to the description box below. Check the links in the description box for my author page. It is available on Amazon and you will find it there. There are links down in the description box if you are feeling inclined to donate to my channel. Every donation is so very welcome, never expected. And let us know down in the comment section below. Put a shooting star. Just tell us how you're doing. Let everybody know where you're at so that, you know, you guys can commiserate, collaborate, and connect to each other. All right, Aquarius, I love you guys so much. Thank you again so much for being here, and I will see you all at my next readings. Bye.